Should Baltimore give Lamar a fully guaranteed contract?
Absolutely not.
Geez. Didn't even finish the question.
Come on. He hasn't been able to finish out the last 2 seasons.
Can't finish my question either.
I'm sorry, but he hasn't finished out the last 2 seasons. He got hurt 2 years ago. He got hurt this past year. He's won 1 playoff game. His quarterback rating in the playoff games in which he has participated in is not good. Buffalo, the Chargers, Tennessee have not been good. Listen, he has got an great skill set, and you probably, under the right scenarios, got a chance to win a Super Bowl, but I'm not convinced you can win a Super Bowl with the way he plays the position and lasting 20 games. I'm not sure if you can do that. He hasn't shown he can do it so far. So to give him the most money of any quarterback in the NFL, which is what he's going to want, he's not he's what, 6th, 7th best quarterback in the league? I'm not giving him the most money. So I would go franchise tag if it was me.
You go franchise tag and have some other team take your quarterback that you've developed and drafted and built a system around, because you do understand there's other teams that are going to pay him. So here's what I want you to understand as well as Stephen A. When you talk about fully guaranteed money, because we hear this a lot, right? Fully guaranteed, fully guaranteed, fully guaranteed. All Lamar cares about and all we care about is the first 4 years. That money being fully guaranteed in the first 4 years. Is he a $50 million a year quarterback? Yes, he is a $50 million a year quarterback. He's been an MVP. He's continued to get better each single year that he's played. He hasn't regressed. Other than injuries are a part of the game. That is the bet if a guy can stay healthy. That's what you're betting on. You're betting on that. So when you look at, let's just call it $230 million over the first 4 years. You stretch out the next 3 years to amortize those numbers because of salary cap issues. If the Baltimore Ravens are smart, they give him what he needs in the first 4 years. Now, don't worry about the fully guaranteed part, just the first 4 years, like every quarterback and every player essentially gets on long-term deals. Then they can come back. If he's balling, they can renegotiate the deal, push the money forward that's left on the back end, and redo his deal again. A la Patrick Mahomes, $500 million. They got to see Patrick Mahomes this summer in Kansas City. His deal wasn't fully guaranteed. A portion of his deal was guaranteed. Now they're going to have to give him another $300 million on that $500 they initially gave him, which moves it forward. But he absolutely, doggy, deserves every single penny. Have you seen him with him? Have you seen him without him?
All right. How many playoff games has he won?
That's fine that he's only won 1 playoff game. There's a lot of quarterbacks, even the guy upstate, up in Buffalo. He's gone in the playoffs,
right?
But he's lost. But they didn't have a problem paying him. They gave him his money.
You don't think
Aaron Rodgers hadn't won a championship since how long now? They backed up the truck and gave him $150 million of guaranteed money on a 3-year deal, which he makes about $58 million of that this year. And you say, well, he's been MVP 4 times. You paying that type of money just to get an MVP, or you paying for championships?
Lamar's not as good as Josh Allen, and he's not as good as Aaron Rodgers.
In my opinion, he's as good as Josh Allen.
Where is the evidence that supports that?
First of all, he's been the MVP.
All right.
He took the league by storm.
Okay.
He is not playing with a Stephon Diggs at all whatsoever.
That's fine.
Not even close.
Fine.
His best receivers are tied in.
When he played in postseason games, was he impressive? Has he lasted?
He did not play well in a postseason game.
No, not games.
Games. He didn't play well in postseason games. 2 of them.
Okay. Well, more than 2.
No, 2 of them. 2.
He played badly in Buffalo, badly in San Diego,
2.
and Tennessee.
2 games he played bad in.
No, he scored 3 points in Buffalo. He lost the 10.
Personally played bad in 2.
He played bad in more than 2. But the bottom line is he has not shown you that you can win a Super Bowl with. That's why I can't give him the guaranteed contract.
But you can give Josh Allen his money.
Because you can
give Justin Herbert his money when his time comes. Has he shown anything?
I take Justin Herbert over Lamar Jackson right now.
And Deshaun Watson got his money, even though different circumstances.
That you can't compare.
But he still got his money. They was willing to pay him regardless.
Here's my deal. I don't entirely disagree with you, Keyshawn, but I'm not giving him a fully guaranteed deal either. Here's where I will agree with you about. He's worth $50 million a year. And $50 million a year times 4 is $200 million guaranteed.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe Lamar Jackson is worth $200 million guaranteed. The outlier is Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. We know the Cleveland organization, they ain't won a championship since Jim Brown. They were desperate, and that's why they did what they did, knowing that Deshaun Watson was in the situation he's in. Why they made that decision is beyond me. But Deshaun Watson's a bad brother, which I think he's going to prove once he gets back next season. But in the end, shove that aside. Here's where I agree with Doggy based off of your point, Key.
Okay.
You talked about how Patrick Mahomes, they got to revisit his situation because his contract wasn't fully guaranteed. Of course. And that's exactly what I think should be the case with Lamar Jackson. There's one thing to sit up there and say, see, to me, the conversation shouldn't be whether or not his contract should be fully guaranteed. When you haven't finished the season the last 2 years, you missed the last 5 games in the last 2 years, you didn't play in the playoffs either because you were unavailable. The best ability is availability and reliability, and those are 2 things that you haven't been over the last couple of seasons. I got to count that against you. He talked about his performance in the postseason. I think you have to take that into consideration in terms of the guarantee. But when I think about the money, Doggy, don't tell me that Lamar Jackson, with what Baltimore has asked of him, particularly with the talent that they've surrounded him with and the obligations that he's had to uplift this franchise, that he ain't worth $50 million a year. $50 million a year for 4 years is $200 million guaranteed. That's $11 million more than Kyler Murray's $185 million. That's $35 million more than Russell Wilson's $165 million. I think when you look at Lamar Jackson,
starting at,
I understand that, but I think that when you look at Lamar Jackson, you know, he appears, I don't know this, he appears to be one of those guys. I'm on principle, I'm trying to make the statement, I want more guaranteed dollars than Deshaun Watson. When in fact, listen, you're worth $200 million guaranteed in today's market. If Baltimore offers you that should be good enough. $200 million guaranteed over the next 4 years.
But it's all structure and stuff, Stephen A. and Doggy. It's structure. Okay. How's the deal structured?
Okay.
The market has changed and shifted. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But it's changed and it's shifted.
But
and it's going to shift even more. You're asking me to do more with less. You say the performance is in the playoffs. Again, he ain't got no dang old A.J. Brown, man. He out there playing with me and you at the receiver position. What quarterback is going to do anything?
Can I give you one stat that I think actually matters here? He has the 4th best win percentage among starting quarterbacks all time. Since 1966, the guys ahead of him, Brady, Mahomes, and Staubach.
Yeah, that's
I mean, but no, seriously, when you look...
Star won the MVP.
But yes, seriously, when you look at it that way, 4th best win percentage as a starting quarterback all time amongst those guys, and we're talking about the help surrounding him.
The help, man, that's important. Well, what did
am I swaying you,
what did the Philadelphia Eagles go out there and do to help Jalen Hurts?
I agree with you,
They
Key,
went out there and got receivers, man.
But Key, you can't say all of that and then ignore the fact that he hasn't been able to finish the last 2 years. You got to take that into consideration.
Here's what I'm going to say about this year.
Okay, please. Okay.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if he couldn't have finished this year.
I know that.
I don't know.
Stop right there.
I don't know.
Whoa. You and I are locked in 100% on that one. Locked in 100% on that one. Because I don't know if
I ain't going to do you no favors.
I feel you on that. You ain't doing them no favor. But again, in the same breath,
I understand.
In the same breath. You know what? Some people interpret that. Then you left your boys hanging.
No,
that's what I would have
done. You left your boys hanging.
I understand that too.
Okay.
I get that at the same time.
Right.
But I just don't know.
All right.
I mean, you know, he certainly wanted his money.
We could call it a business decision, or we could call it selfish.
And again,
if he made a business decision, does that bother you?
It only would bother me because he started the season.
That's right.
That's the only reason why.
That's right.
Because if I was on the team with him, I would have told him, man, stay at home in August.
That's right.
I would have never.
Don't ever come back. Don't ever come back.
Man, don't even. You're gonna get your money, dog. Whatever we do, we do. And if they can't see it, that's on them. Mm-hmm. That's what I would.
But once you start the season,
then you got to finish.
I want you to get back in. And then I got another question.
I can't believe this dude think the dude is not good in the playoffs because he got receivers that's out there.
But listen, I think
Keyshawn, you can't act like he was great in the playoffs.
But he doesn't have anything, Molly. Every quarterback that's in the playoffs got receivers. Even Patrick Mahomes got Kelsey.
I hear you.
Even if he didn't have Tyreek
Mark
Hill.
Andrews is a good player.
Stop, though,
he's very good.
Yeah, he's not on Kelsey's level.
No,
he's not on Kelsey's level.
Well, nobody is.
He's a solid tight end in the National Football League.
He's a good player.
You got to have an alpha dog in the passing game.
Listen, I'm not...
Philadelphia alpha dog, Buffalo alpha dog, Kelsey alpha dog, Deebo Samuel alpha dog. Stop, man.
Let's do it this way. Where do you want to rank him? What number is he as a quarterback in the NFL?
Where would I have him as a quarterback in the NFL?
Somewhere around 6 or 7?
I'll probably stick him in that 5-6 range, somewhere in there.
So you're going to pay $50 million a year guaranteed to a guy who's not the best quarterback in the league, who does not finish the season in the last 2 years.
They all get 50, doggy.
All right, well,
Plus or minus, they all get 50.
Why haven't the Ravens paid him? I don't understand. They're a good
Your
organization.
guess is as good as mine.
He's a good owner. The coach is good. Why
That's the
haven't they just paid him?
conversation we've been having for 2 years.
But why? There has to be a reason. That's a good organization. They won a Super Bowl.
Well, first of all,
What's the reason?
they don't have an issue paying the linebacker, so that you know. They pay linebackers.
They have paid the
their
linebackers.
identity.
Right.
Their identity is we're going to pay the defensive players. They have
well,
no
they won their
issue
Super
doing
Bowl
that.
with defense.
And
so I
that's just their
understand that.
philosophy.
Right, but
That's their
still,
philosophy.
you would think the owner and the GM, and that's, the Ozzie Newsome
So here,
crew,
I'll tell you what, Mr.
that's
GM.
pretty good.
I'll tell you what, Mr. GM. Go ahead and put the exclusive tag on me and see what I can get out in the open market. Won't you do that? I dare you to.
Well, maybe they will, but I don't know.
I
enough
dare
about
them
them.
to.
And then they have the right. They have the right to match.
No, because what's going to happen is somebody's
going to offer him everything, and then they're going to pay.
Tepper going to give him $300 million.
Well, the Jets.
The Jets are giving $300 million. Now what?
Would you
Not sure
hold
if the
out
Jets
if you're
will.
him, if you didn't get the guaranteed contract?
You can't even find me. My phone doesn't work.
I'm sorry?
My phone wouldn't work. You can't find me. In other words, if you tag me,
Hold out.
you can't find me.
That's right.
There's nothing to talk about.
nothing
Where's
to talk
Keyshawn?
That's
I
right.
mean, he knows. He beat me up when I was in New York for holding out.
I probably did.
You absolutely did. You and the other guy.
That might. We probably no. But if the Jets go out and get Aaron Rodgers, okay, where's Lamar going to end up? Carolina? Really? You want to go play for the Panthers?
No.
In New Orleans?
There's a
How
lot
about
of
Miami?
places. You can go.
He's got two. They're not going to do anything with that.
Well, you don't know.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
What about Atlanta?
I'd get rid of Tua in a heartbeat for
Only
Lamar
reason
Jackson.
why is
Atlanta's
because they
possible.
don't have the capital. But the Atlanta Falcons went after Deshaun Watson. They certainly will pay. The New Orleans Saints got quarterback
Calvin
issues.
Ridley's coming
they
back.
They certainly would pay.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.